This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
And happy Saturday morning, Yankee fans, baseball fans. Let's make today a great day. How do you make your day great? It's easy. Look to the good. There's a lot of good out there. And if you look for it, well, the process of looking helps make your day great. But when you find it and you say, boy, oh boy, there's lots of good things happening, that also helps to make your day great. But the best way, and this is the way you can assure that there will always be something good, the best way is to do good. Be nice, be friendly, respectful. Do nice things for other people. This way, if you say, I can't find any good, well, if you create it, then you can find it because it's right there in front of you. I can't find any good. Well, I donated my time to the soup kitchen. Well, now there's good. You just created some. And that'll help you make today a great day. Now, as you know, I record these on Fridays and then they go live on Saturdays. So when I say last night, I'm really meaning Thursday night. But last night, Thursday night, we didn't have great news as Yankee fans. Corbin Burnes was traded, probably the best starting pitcher in the trade market, and probably the best starting pitcher available, trade or free agency at this point. He was traded from the Brewers to the Baltimore Orioles. The Orioles, it seems, will be the Yankees' biggest rivals in the AL East. And one of the things that's hurt the Orioles in recent years for a long time was they were always seen as a small market team, but they've just been purchased by a deep pockets owner. They've already developed a very strong team, and now they have an owner with deep pockets. And they went out and they got the best starting pitcher out there. Now, on Start Spreading the News, we have lots and lots and lots of discussion about, could the Yankees have made this deal? Why didn't they make this deal? What are the Yankees thinking? Etc. I don't want to rehash all of that. I'd rather ask a bigger question. One that I really would love the answer to. Well, there's really two questions. The first one doesn't have an answer. But let's go back in time just a few months to the beginning of the off season. It was wildly speculated. The experts in the sport, so many said that the Yankees, if Corbin Burnes became available, were going to be all in. Like they would be one of the favorites, if not the favorite, to get him. But they didn't. Let's go back in time a few months ago when people said the same thing about Yamamoto. Oh my goodness, the Yankees. You can't outbid the Yankees. They're going to get Yamamoto. I mean, that's just a given. You hear stuff like this every off season. The experts who make those predictions never, ever go, I predicted that and I was wrong. They just move on to the next thing. But my question is, and this one doesn't really have an answer, is what's worse? Hearing that the Yankees are going to get a player and then they don't get him? Or the fact that they are just not interested in the player? I don't know what's worse. The Yamamoto thing was frustrating beyond all end because the Yankees didn't make the best offer. And I know the spin, which is just ridiculous spin, But I know the spin. The Yankees offered more money on an annual basis. Right, but they offered $25 million less. $25 million less. It just fine. They offered more on a year-to-year basis for a shorter contract with an earlier opt-out. Who's walking away from $25 million? I have put this out there time and time again. If $25 million doesn't mean anything, well, then 25 single dollars definitely doesn't mean anything. And if you believe that $25 million doesn't mean anything, then please reach out to me and send me 25 bucks. Just $25, 25 George Washington single dollars. Nobody will do that, nor should they, because to everybody, $25 is $25. People drive around the block. They go to different gas stations miles away to save a few pennies per gallon. People get coupons and they save a few dollars at the store. People buy things on sale. And when they say, I got $20 off, they say, that was pretty good. That was a $100 item. I got it for 80 bucks. $20, $25 means something. And yet the same people that know that that's true go, the Yankees, they offered them more on an annual basis for the short term. But they neglect to realize or admit that it was still $25 million short. But anyway, what's worse? An apathetic Yankees? Well, they weren't in on Burns. They had no interest. That's frustrating. I'm not saying that was the case. I'm asking the question hypothetically. Or they were really in on him and they didn't get it done. How do you feel about those two scenarios? I hate them both. That's my answer. I want the Yankees to be in on every player. And I believe, again, we're not fans of the Pittsburgh Pirates. We're not fans of the Kansas City Royals. We're fans of the biggest, most valuable team in the sport. I believe the Yankees should be in on all the great players. And I believe the Yankees have or should have the resources and the financial capabilities to never get outbid. Ever. Both are frustrating to me. But I wonder how you feel. It's like the old question when you were in college. What was better? The professor saying there won't be class on Wednesday, so you knew in advance? Or showing up to the classroom and having a note posted on the door that says class is canceled? The one, you can prepare for the fact that there's no class. You might put off doing the readings and the homework till later. The other, you did all that, and now you also went to class, but now you get a free hour or a free 2 hours, however long the class period would be. It's a hard question to answer. The other thing this is a serious question that no one has ever been able to satisfactorily answer for me, ever, is this sense that other teams ask more of the Yankees when they're trying to make a trade than they ask of other teams. Well, the Yankees offered whatever, but the other team wouldn't take the Yankee offer. They expected the Yankees to give them Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig for Corbin Burns, but they settled on a deal with the Baltimore Orioles for Mario Mendoza. This idea that the teams always ask the Yankees for more. It's an absurd claim. Number one, no one knows what the other teams truly offered or asked of the Yankees. All you get is the spin from the writers or the Yankees or the other team, what they let out. No one truly knows. But on its face, if you were a GM what would your number one objective be when making a trade? It would be to get the best possible players, period. You wouldn't have an objective to say, you know what? I think what I'd like to do is get lesser players from a different team than I could get from the Yankees. I know what I'll do. I'll ask the Yankees for Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig, as I said a few moments ago, but I'm really going to settle with a different team to get Eddie Brinkman. It's absurd. Why would you want to bring in a lesser player? Sure, you could ask the Yankees originally for Ruth and Gehrig, but when the Yankees counter with someone less than that or whatever, who's better than the guys on the other team, why wouldn't you take the Yankee offer? Because you're trying to stick it to the Yankees? It makes no sense, does it? To me, it makes no sense. The GM shouldn't care who he's getting the great players from. The GM should just want to get the best players, period. This idea that other teams are always trying to stick it to the Yankees, it sounds paranoid. And again, to my point a few moments ago, the Yankees shouldn't have to make that excuse because it's a lame excuse. You're the Yankees. Get it done. Oh, they asked for too much. The frustrating point about all of that is, in the end, over the years, and I never keep track of this stuff. I really should. I don't have the time, the effort, the inclination, the hard drive space, or whatever to write down all the rumors all the time and then go back and try to sort through them. But over the years, we get, we could have had the greatest pitcher in the world, but they wanted Clint Frazier, and we weren't willing to go there. They asked too much. Or they wanted Miguel Andujar. I remember once, I believe this is true, the Yankees in the 90s turned down a deal for Randy Johnson. This at least was the rumor, because they didn't want to give up Sterling Hitchcock. I mean, that's what seems to happen all the time. The untouchable guys of right now, in a year or two, everybody says, oh, I wish the Yankees would trade them, but everybody says they have no trade value. You could have had Cy Young in a trade for Clint Frazier, but no. Clint Frazier was untouchable. He was going to be better than Cy Young and Honus Wagner and Babe Ruth and Hank Aaron and Willie Mays and Stan Musial all combined. It gets silly. So I don't buy that rumor. No one has ever been able to explain, or that perspective. No one has ever been able to explain that satisfactorily to me. Like, the Yankees get asked for more than other teams. Well, if you want them, you're going to have to give us Babe Ruth. But if they want them, they can give us Eddie Brinkman. Again, it makes no sense. It's just silly. It's excuse making. And I think the Yankees should be well beyond and way better than excuse making. All right. I thought it might be fun, real quickly. This is that time of year, right? Like, I'm frustrated the Yankees didn't get Corbin Burns. Move on, and we will. But there's still that optimism, right? Spring training is on the horizon. And when spring training's on the horizon, like, that's when I think good things. Like, yeah, of course Giancarlo Stanton's going to bounce back and have a big year. Of course Carlos Rodon is healthy and in great shape and focused. Of course Garrett Cole won't have any regression. Of course Clark Schmidt will pitch well, even though he threw 100 more innings than last year. Of course Aaron Judge is healthy and he can play center field every day, for the most part, all season. All these things. Like, we're optimistic right now. We have to be. The season is coming. Spring training's on the horizon. But I was thinking it might be fun to walk through best case, worst case scenario. Realistically, I mean, the worst case for everybody is an F. The best case for everybody, in theory at least, is an A. But realistically, let's just walk through it. Best case scenario for Anthony Rizzo on a school grading system. He's what, a B first baseman? He's not an A first baseman. Good defensively, a solid hitter, should hit a bunch of homers, won't hit for a high average. So what would he say? I'd say that's about a B, right? So we'll give Anthony Rizzo a B. Bad case scenario, I think you're looking at a D or an F. And that would be, realistically, if he doesn't bounce back from the head injury. And no one knows that he can. I love how so many people say, well, he's bouncing back. He looks great. He hasn't played in a game yet. He hasn't gone through the daily rigors of baseball yet. He hasn't traveled on and off of airplanes and in and out of hotels and in and out of stadiums, playing at night and then day the next day and etc. I'm concerned about Anthony Rizzo. I'm going to be optimistic, but I'm a little concerned. Gleyber Torres, I think upside of Gleyber is an A. I think Yankees, if he's who he should be, who he can be, in his free agent year, they have a superstar or a lower level superstar, if nothing else. So I think he's an A. Worst case scenario, I think Gleyber Torres is a solid player. I think he's good. He's still young. I think the worst you're going to get out of Gleyber Torres is probably a C+ or a B-. And let's grade it on a little bit of a curve. We'll give him the B-. Now, Anthony Volpe. That's an interesting one. He was not a good hitter last year. How much better do we think he's going to be in his second year? If he improves his OPS plus by 19 points, that makes him an average major league hitting shortstop. Can we expect much more than that? I don't know. I'll be optimistic and say I bet you he might even be able to hit 250 or 260, maybe 275. This is the optimism speaking. But I know he won the Gold Glove last year, but I think his defense is still a little questionable. So what's he at best? A B shortstop? He's not an A. No one's going to say the optimistic approach to Anthony Volpe in 2024 is that he's going to be one of the best shortstops in the game or in the league. So I'm going to give him a B. I'm going to say worst case scenario, he's what he was last year, which would be probably a D+. Good fielder, no hitting, and that'll be problematic for the Yankees. Third base, DJ LeMahieu playing every day. I've not been happy about this all year. What do you say? DJ playing every day. I say at best he's a B-. He'll hit 270. He's not going to hit for a lot of power. Third base is a power position. He'll play good defense. Maybe we give him a B. Maybe. I will give him a B. I don't know, though. I think it's more like a B-. And the bad side of that, if DJ LeMahieu is really bad and he gets hurt and then they have to go to Oswald Peraza to play third base, again, I think you're looking at a D-. They'll pass, but not well. Left field, Alex Verdugo. I'm going to put him in the same category as Gleyber. He's a free agent. He has a lot to prove. This is his chance for a big payday. He's in a new city. I mean, new city and stuff isn't the same as Gleyber, of course, but I think there's a lot of reasons Alex Verdugo has a very good year. Lefty in Yankee Stadium, wants to be part of a winner, etc. I'm going to say he's an A-. I think he might really be good. Remember, he was the centerpiece of the trade for Mookie Betts. There's potential there. There's skill. And I say at worst, I'd say he's still going to be a very good player. I think at worst, Verdugo's a B-. I think Yankees are solid there. Center field, best case scenario, Aaron Judge, A+. The best. He might still be the best player in baseball. Of course, the fear is he's not up to playing center field every day as a 32-year-old who's only played center field every day once in his life. And that was before he had a very bad toe injury that kept him out for months last year. So what's the worst case scenario? I think Judge will put up enough great numbers that overall his numbers at worst would be probably a C+. If he misses months on end, probably more like a B. But the devastation factor for the Yankees, if Judge isn't in the lineup every day, I think is catastrophic. I think that's like you get 2 grades on a test, and one of them is a 100 and one of them is a 0. You average them out, it's a 50, you're still failing. It's not like an A and an F of a 50, and then your average is a 75, and you're okay. You're passing. It's not great. I think the loss to Judge is like getting a 0. It's devastating to the GPA. So I'm going to say if he wears down or if he gets injured or if he's not Aaron Judge, he'll still be, again, I'm going to give him a higher grade here, probably a B or a B minus production over the course of his numbers compared to everybody else. But the devastating impact on the Yankees, I think, would be an F. Juan Soto, I don't think there's any concerns there whatsoever. I think at best he's an A+. He's one of the best players in baseball. And at worst, what's he going to be, a B? See, I don't think the injury factor is the same for Juan Soto. Anybody can get hurt. I get that. But Judge is coming off of an injury, and they're not expecting Juan Soto to play center field. That's why I'm much more concerned about Judge. So worst case scenario for Juan Soto, he's going to be a B. The catchers, I don't know. I don't think they're great defensively. I don't think they have great arms. I don't think Trevino's a great hitter. Austin Wells might be a very good hitter. So I think you're basically, worst case scenario, you're getting a D. Best case scenario, you're getting a C. I don't think it's a position of strength for the Yankees. Garrett Cole, best case scenario is he's Garrett Cole one more year, and I think he will be. He's an A+. Worst case scenario, he's more mediocre, but he's still going to be one of the better pitchers in the league. B. Carlos Rodon, I think best case scenario is he's the guy the Yankees thought they were getting last year based on his previous 2 seasons, not last year as a Yankee, the previous 2 years. So he's an A. Worst case scenario is it's a repeat of last year. But I think he'll be healthy. I mean, that's the hope. I think at his worst, I mean, last year he was like an F, but he was injured. If he's healthy and he's pitching, I think the worst he's going to be is a C. Marcus Stroman, I think, is a B. One thing about Marcus Stroman is he just doesn't seem to win a lot of games. And I know people overrate pitcher wins, but every year, no matter how good he is, he's 14-13, 9-11, 10-8, 9-8, 11-12. You know, it's every year he's around 500. That's a B. He'll keep the Yankees in games. I think worst case scenario, he's probably a B. I think Marcus Stroman is one of these guys that he is exactly what you're going to get. I don't think they're going to do much more than a B from Nestor Cortez. I think the A Nestor Cortez is a thing of the past. I think the Nestor Cortez who got bounced around from organization to organization to organization is probably a D. And then I guess our last pitcher in that list is Clark Schmidt, who Clark Schmidt, I think at best is a B or a B minus. And again, I think he's solid. I don't think there's anything to worry about with Clark Schmidt. I don't think he's going to explode or implode or anything like that. I think he's a solid pitcher, so I give him a C. I don't know. I'd love to hear your grades. Looking back quickly, we have an A positive scenario at second base, an A in left field, an A+ in center, an A+ in right, an A+ at the top of the rotation, and an A is the number 2 guy. And then a bunch of B's all over the place. Rizzo at first, Volpe at short, LeMahieu at third, Rodon and Cortez and Schmidt in the rotation. Boy, if the good grades come true, the Yankees have themselves a heck of a team. But I think it's pretty volatile because the bad parts, I'm giving an F to Rizzo if he can't come back. Now, I'm not giving him the F. I'm giving the position that the Yankees are up the creek if they don't have Rizzo at first. I'm giving an F to center field if Aaron Judge can't play every day. I'm giving a D- to third base if DJ LeMahieu gets injured. I'm giving a D+ to shortstop if Volpe is the same player he was last year. Good defense, probably not quite as good. I don't think he's a Gold Glover again. And 19 points below average, that's just not good. A D at catcher if neither one of those guys can throw out base runners. A D for Cortez if he reverts to the pitcher he was years ago when he couldn't stick with any organization. On the positive side, I think the bad scenarios for Gleyber Torres is a B minus. For Alex Verdugo is, I think, a B minus. For Marcus Stroman, I think, is a B. For Juan Soto, I think it's a B. For Garrett Cole, I think it's a B. So there is some good news if we look at the worst case scenario, but the Yankees seem to be pretty volatile. It seems to be a pretty volatile group there. They could be amazing. We could be on the precipice of a phenomenal year, or we could be on the precipice of a disaster year. And my worry is if 2024 is a disaster, why would Juan Soto come back? Garrett Cole is probably going to opt out. It's the smart move. But why would the Yankees bring him back for another year to override the opt-out? Because if Soto leaves, and now you have a 33-year-old Judge in 2025, another year older LeMahieu, another year older Rizzo, if they bring him back for $17 million on his option, another year older Stanton. All of a sudden you're saying, like, this is not a team that's really built to win. It's a team that's built to be mediocre at best. It's a middling team. If the Yankees aren't good in 2024, we could be looking at a dark period ahead of us, a period where they're not even in contention, where they're just a mediocre team. That's why if I were the Yankees, I would have gotten Corbin Burns. I would have said to the Brewers, what do you want? We will top the offer. Whatever it is, we will top the offer. I'd like to put one more A in that starting rotation. At worst, he's a B. I'd like to have that type of contingency. That's why I would go out and sign Blake Snell right now. I think at worst, he's a C+, but he's probably another A. That's why I'd sign Cody Bellinger. It takes a little of the question away at first base, solidifies the outfield, gets Judge out of center field. This is the year for the Yankees. This is the year they have to get it done. And if they don't, I think we're looking at a period of time where the Yankees are not going to be contenders. And I know some people say, and I'll finish the show with this, I don't want the Yankees going all in now because the future isn't going to be bright if they do that. Well, I don't think the future is bright anyway. But it's been so long since the Yankees even won a World Series or even there that I'm okay sacrificing 2025 and 2026 and 2027 for some World Series victories and a championship in 2024. You know, satisfy that hunger. If you're in the mood for pizza and it's been a long time since you've had pizza, even if you know you might not get it again for a long time, you're going to enjoy the pizza you get in that moment. I want to enjoy that Yankee pizza. I want to enjoy it this year because if we don't, I don't think pizza's coming back. I think the pizza parlor down the street's going out of business. And I don't think there's going to be a chance to get pizza anywhere for a long time in Yankee land. All right, good stuff. Next week, another recorded show as always, but this one I recorded already. I'm not going to be around next week. So I won't have any chance to do news related to the Yankees, anything updated. So a fun show next week. I go through a stack of books, a mile high, sharing some, not all, of my favorite baseball books of all time. Take a look, enjoy. I'll be back here with updated Yankee news in 2 weeks. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you for watching. And again, make today and every day